Hey folks, it's been a long time since I did a video, but I have a situation here that I just didn't want to miss the opportunity to run a test on for a number of reasons. And primarily it's because I have two rigs here. One is your standard competitive barebow rig. It's a 25-inch X-Spot Rhino by D-Cut with some K-Storm limbs on it. This would be the sort of bow that you would see in a barebow competition, although this is an econo version of such, but doesn't lack any of the performance that you would see in that category of bows. I mean, the limbs aren't exactly border CVX limbs. They are just standard profile limbs, but the K-Storms are noted for being rather zippy limbs. They're all graphite carbon fiber limbs. So that's a 68-inch bow. And the other bow is a West Wallace Mentor. It is the typical bow that you would see in what people might call traditional archery events, 3Ds and such. And, you know, the limb comparison is cutting edge carbon graphite with the crossweave carbon versus the more traditional wood glass limbs. My limbs on the West Wallace Mentor are Moso bamboo cores, and they are veneered with some very well figured myrtle with ebony accents. You know, nothing what you would call high tech. The Barebow, of course, has no string silencers. But now, while that's an advantage, the disadvantage is it's 68 inches, and although it's 68 inches, it's medium limbs. So the West Wallace Mentor is 64 inches. Now, what that means is at my 28-inch draw, I'm going to be working those West Wallace Mentor limbs more. Their advantages: I'm going to be inducing more flex into the limb, more load into the limb, because of the 4-inch shorter length of the bow. However, they're just like traditional glasswood limbs. So, you know, I oftentimes hear people say, "Oh, the barebow guys come out and they have this big advantage in the traditional events," and I agree. In some instances, they do, where they have a very clear shot, where you go to one of these 3Ds where the grass is mowed like you're shooting down. About bowling alley lane, and there's no interference, no obstructions, nothing that you need to get in an awkward shooting position like you would in real life hunting. But this is the stuff that gets talked about. Now, I agree. If I go out to a different venue, if I go to a 900 round where I'm shooting 60, 50, and 40 yards, an American round, the barebow is going to shine. It's got the weight, the mass weight, and it's smoother shooting, but it's loud. So there's advantages and disadvantages to both, depending on where and what you're doing. But for the sake of closing any arguments as far as velocity is concerned, I had a decent day here. Got a little error code on my chrono, so I'm gonna shut that off just for make sure everything's going well. Maybe something flew over, a leaf fell or whatever. So anyway, the cool part is both of these bows are exactly 32 pounds. The other real cool part is both of these bows are being shot 3 under with a Yost tab. The other really cool part is both of these bows are extremely well tuned using the same arrows. So this is 32 pounds off a 68-inch barebow and 32 pounds off a 64-inch more classic traditional wood glass bow. And let's see which one is smoking an arrow. And we also don't want to overlook the fact that I'm shooting off the shelf with the West Wallace Mentor, and I am shooting with a very expensive biter plunger and Spigarelli ZT arrow rest. So I'm going to shoot 3 arrows and pull them, and then I'm going to shoot them off the Mentor. So you might want to put your earplugs in for this one. And let's see what kind of performance we get out of these K-Storms on a Rhino. You cut Rhino riser. .166. .165. .166. I'd say that's pretty consistent. I might also note that these arrows are full length, 500 spine, 3D HVs. And you say, wait a minute, oh, what's up with 500 spine off a 32 pound? But well, I have 65 grain stainless steel half outserts on here with 100 grain points. So there's 165 grains up front on these arrows. Here's the amazing part. They weigh like 327 grains. So off of these bows, it's just a hair over 10 grains per pound. That's the speed you're seeing. You know, I'm in the mid 160s, shooting 10 grains per pound at 32 pounds of draw at 28 inches. So let's see what the West Wallace Mentor has. And now we're just wood glass limbs with boo cores and the traditional thing off the shelf. .165. .168. I did expand a little bit more on that shot. I literally blew that. I plucked the heck out of it. I'm short, crossed the chrono weird. So I'm gonna go ahead and shoot a bear shaft. .166. So .166, 168. What was it? 165? Yeah, 165, 168, and then 166 off the West Wallace Mentor. But you know, all things considering, you know, the fancy high-tech limbs versus wood, glass. And this is what we're doing with a wood glass bow, hanging right with the Barebow. The only advantages are going to be in the imagination of the archer, and/or what sort of venue you're participating in. If I'm in the woods, I'm going to take the West Wallace Mentor all day long. If I'm out on a field of competition, of course I'm going to take the barebow rig. I hope you found this interesting, and thanks for watching.